Hey, what is up guys? Jay Burton here, and today I'm going to start a new video series where it's basically I'm wanting to create a starter guide for 3v3 comps. For people who are new to a certain comp, they're wondering, how can I improve? What's the overall strat? Like, what's the win condition for this comp? What are they weak against? What are they good with? Now, I'm not claiming to be professional in every comp. Like, I'm not saying I'm 2500 RMD, 2500 Walking Dead, 2500 TSG. No, I'm just here to provide, some helpful tips for people who are struggling. This may even be for people under 2K. I don't know, maybe some other people will find it helpful. That's up to them. But anyways, so in this video, I just want to talk about Walking Dead first. Somebody's like, what the hell is that, a TV show? I guess it is, but no. There's a 3v3 comp called Walking Dead, which is a healer, Windwalker monk, and a Frost DK. It's called Walking Dead because Windwalker, Walker, yeah, okay. And then Death Knight, dead, Walking Dead. I know, it's just so clever, isn't it? Whoever came up with that's a friggin' genius. Yeah, I'm being a little sarcastic. Anyways, alright. So, starting off, let's talk about the healer that goes with this comp. There is no set healer, but in my opinion, there is one healer I think that is best for this comp. Because we have two melee DPS, the Windwalker and the Frost DK. So what goes great with those? Well, freedoms. Multiple freedoms. A Holy Pally. I think they are the best for this comp. I'm not saying you can't get 2k rating with a healer that's not a Holy Pally. I'm just saying I think it'd be easiest with a Holy Pally. Just because of those double freedoms. But then there's also another reason. Anytime you have a double melee comp, it's typically meant for herp dirt bursting to try to blow up the enemy healer. Now the strats will vary a lot more when you get above 2k, but in the lower ratings, it often becomes healer races. At least when you're double melee. And so what happens when you verse a TSG, Turbo Cleave, or another Walking Dead? There is an excellent chance both teams are going to run to the opposite side of the maps and attack the enemy healers. And so, a Holy Pally, in my opinion, can last the longest without any peels from the teammates. Now keep in mind, you have two melee teammates, so it's hard for them to get peels on you. I'm not saying they can't, Death Grip is a great peel. Your monk can sap people with this, I forgot what it's called, it's a range sap type of thing. And he can roll to you, whatever. But it's not as easy as a caster is for peeling off people. So you just gotta keep that in mind. So, a Holy Pally is great at surviving on their own, at least at the longest. But Rusto Druids can work well, Cyclones to help with it. Extra CC is always nice. I think the weakest healer for this comp would be a Shaman. Once again, I don't think it's not impossible for a Walking Dead team with a Shaman to get 2k rating. It's not impossible. I just think it's a little harder. Because Shamans need to be babysitted more than other healers. They need pills much more than other healers. Now it's kind of hard to peel for your healer because we have both melee DPS. However, if the Shaman is playing offensive with you guys, which I think he should be, he should not be super defensive. Not in Walking Dead. He should be up there in the front lines with you guys, purging your DPS targets. In which case, you can peel for him pretty easily. And he can still provide a Windwalk totem for everybody. And, helpful offensive things like that. So, Shaman can work. They gotta be played correctly. Uh-oh, am I gonna kill this level 88? Am I gonna kill this low level rogue? No, of course not. I'm not an asshole. Alright, anyways. So, that's the healer of it. So what's some overall strats for this comp? What makes it good? Why is this such a powerful and common comp? Well, it's a lot like TSG in the fact that you're running double melee with a DK and then another melee who has a Mortal Strike. Windwalk monks have a Mortal Strike. It's, I think, on their blackout kick. He's probably wondering, what the hell am I doing? Oh, he waved at me. How you doing, dude? Anyways. Okay, so it's just like a TSG. The thing is, though, Windwalker monks are a little bit more mobile. Now, yes, warriors have charge and heroic leap, but Windwalker monks have more of a consistent roll, and they got their little speed boost. Tiger's something. And both comps excel at multi-target damaging. Like the warrior, between his Rins and his sweeping strikes, plus the DK's Necrotic Plague and Howling Blast, TSG does lots of AoE damage. But so does Walking Dead. Walking Dead, you'll have your monk, use this Storm Earth or whatever it's called, where he splits up into multiple dudes. You have one of his other dudes attacking like a healer, and he's on somebody. You could even have it where he's attacking all three people, but I usually just see it where he's attacking two people at once. And then of course you got the DK's got Necrotic Plague going around, and once I hit smack stacks, that actually does a lot of damage. Plus there's a Howling Blast which can hit multiple people. That's why this comp works so well. Spread pressure damage. But there's one important factor that Walking Dead has that TSG does not. This is why a Windwalker works better than a Warrior. This one strat, which if you've versed Walking Dead, you've probably had this happen to you, and you freak out expecting it to happen roughly every 30 seconds. Maybe every 45. And that is the Death Grip into Fist of Fury combo. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the way it starts off is the monk is like, hey bro, I got my Fist of Fury up, and I got my Tiger's Eye Brew buff ready. DK's like, oh, that's cool, I got my Death Grip, yeah. So you're going to couple those together. The monk is going to immediately just, like, start Fist of Furying somebody right as the Death Grip pulls the healer in. It's like at the same exact time. Now keep in mind, the monk did use his Tiger's Eye Brew, so he's doing 60% more damage. So we got two people on top of each other now, a DPS and a healer, and they're just getting plowed from the Fists of Fury. But the DK's also attacking too. He's spamming Howling Blast, which is hitting both of them. This is insane damage and CC. This is the combo that people fear. They will do everything they can to not allow this to happen. Some things to keep in mind is don't stun somebody if you're about to use this combo, because it will DR and they'll get out of the Fist of Fury quicker. If you're versing a double melee team like TSG, Turbo, or other Walking Dead, you can actually get all three people in this. Because usually the DK and whatever the two melee are, they'll be on the same person, DPSing the same person. So the Windwalker heads over to him. Usually the Windwalker will actually be DPS'd, so you don't even have to move. The DK goes over to where all the fighting's going on. Death grips the healer in, so all three of the enemy is standing on top of each other, and Fist of Fury just goes to town. I think The Walking Dead does very well versus these double DPS teams just because of this one combo. This causes trinkets, defensive cooldowns, raging, and deaths. Usually the raging happens after the deaths. But anyways, the raging happens. Great combo. Short cooldown. Fist of Fury doesn't have a long cooldown. Death Grip doesn't have a long cooldown. It's mainly dependent on when the Windwalker gets his max stacks of Tiger's Eye Brew. Very great combo. Use it as much as you can. Now, some comps I think this Walking Dead can struggle with is a heavy CC comp. For example, RMD. I think RMD can give it some trouble. Just because if one of those two DPS are CC'd throughout most of the match, that combo can't work. Oh, we got another low level here. Level 88. Sorry. But so if the CCs are happening, the combos do, get interrupted. But then again, I think this comp can do really well versus RMD. It just really depends on the players, I guess. Okay, let me talk about the weakness though. The biggest weakness to this comp is the monk. If I'm versing this comp, I want my team to be focusing on that monk. The reason why is monks are pretty squishy. And if we can force them to waste their Tiger's Eye Brew on heals instead of damage, they're in a bad situation. That's our goal, to make them have to heal themselves with Tiger's Eye Brew buff, not damage. Also, the monk will likely get away. He'll teleport away or he'll roll away. He'll somehow get away. That's how monks do. They will get away. That's okay. We'll do an instant switch to the DK. Most likely the DK will not be in blood presence. He will be in frost because ideally you shouldn't have even really touched the DK at the start of the match until the monk gets away. So he'll be in frost presence and you just do a hard swap to him and he's either gonna have to go blood presence and not do as much damage or stay in frost and gonna take a lot of damage. So in my opinion, that's the biggest weakness of this comp, which it's actually not even that big of a weakness. So it's a pretty potent comp. If you've never tried it, I recommend you do try it. Okay, guys, that's really all I wanted to talk about. If I left anything out, I will edit the video and add it in. Yeah, that's it. I plan on doing these little talk things for every 3v3 comp, at least all the ones that are, actually used. And I apologize, some people may be watching this hoping to get past 2K rating. This is just the road up, around getting out of 1500s, getting up there. Alright guys, well if you liked the video, please drop me a subscribe. I'll appreciate it. Take care.